New York Post also. If I was a journalist, I probably would want to work at the New York Post because their articles are batshit crazy. Man who lost penis to blood infection has new one built on his arm. I mean, all right. A British man whose penis fell off during a severe blood infection had a new one built on his arm, where he even got an extra, that's right, 2 inches. I mean, we don't know what he was starting with, right? I mean, if he was starting at like 4 or 5, he's average. But if he was already at 8, could be a big one. Malcolm McDonald, 45, mechanic, suffers a horrible infection in his perineum that turned his fingers, toes, and manhood black. Struggle for years, yada, yada, yada. Dick falls off, and he was completely gutted when his penises dropped off to the floor in 2014. But his testicles remained intact. I have so many questions. I have so many fucking questions. Because if anything on me turned black, I mean, I can only equate this to like when you watched a Mount Everest documentary, it's inevitable that you see someone with black fingers, right? Frostbite. I mean, if my dick turned black, I probably would be at the doctor every single day. I mean, that's a pretty fair assessment, right? Would you not go to the doctor? Went to the hospital. They said the best they could do for me was to roll the remaining stump up like a little sausage roll. It was heartbreaking. You think? More importantly, how do you piss? For 2 years after losing his penis, I felt a shadow of a man, clearly. My life really fell apart because I had no self-confidence. Fucking yeah, I 100% agree with that. I drank too much. I didn't see my family and friends. I didn't, obviously depression. We're going to sum it up at that. The phallus expert created a bionic penis. There you go. I mean, it's kind of like the Lorena Bobbitt case, right? I mean, if you can reattach it, I mean, I suppose you get a, what do they call it? A neurovascular surgeon, right? Or a vascular surgeon. And then they just reattach the organ. I mean, I can't, on paper, I mean, it can't be much more different than attaching any other sort of appendage, a finger, a toe, an arm, a leg, and, whatever it may be. McDonald also decided to request an extra 2 inches. It cost $65,000 to have a penis growing on his arm. What the fuck are we talking about, people? This gentleman paid $65,000 to have a penis growing on his arm. Look, I have said this, I think probably every fucking podcast, because you can't just negate it. 2020 will have to be the most batshit crazy year. Maybe not ever. There's been some fucking doozies in the past, but everybody who's alive right now, this is the biggest shit show I think we've ever been a part of. Whether it's focused on politics, economics, pandemics, viruses, sociological, economical, behavioral. I mean, name it. Name the topic, and it's a fucking mental. It's just mental. $65,000. Surgeons formed a new manhood with its own blood vessels and nerves using a skin flap. Apparently, from watching Botched, they do that a lot. It'll attach it to like the forehead or something. So obviously this was strictly on the arm, but I guess, I mean, it's a technique they use for ears and noses and other sorts of measures like that. They created a urethra and installed 2 tubes inflated with a hand pump, allowing him to achieve an erection. That's very much the fucking dude from Hustler. Flint, right? Larry Flint? Again, if I'm fucking this up, I'm going to be lit up in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it was Larry Flint. So he's got basically got a pump in there to give him a hard on. Understandable. Very understandable. The shaft was then removed from his forearm, leaving the base, allowing it to form naturally as skin and tissue. He is now awaiting for it to be finally transferred to its proper location. When I saw it on my arm for the first time, I was so proud. After everything I had been through, it didn't feel weird at all. It was just a part of me. I get it, dude. I mean, honestly, 65 grand is a fucking lot of money. I don't know if I would pay 65 grand, but I've never been without a dick, so I don't necessarily know exactly mentally where I would be at. What I will say is good for him. What the fuck can you say? His dick straight up fell off. The fact that he saw his dick fall off from an infection. I mean, that I can't even fathom what that is. And the fact that surgeons and doctors can grow a penis on an arm. I mean, I would have thought they grew it in like a petri dish, right? Like in a lab. Like, don't they usually grow ears like in a lab? We live in some crazy shit. More importantly, though, they can grow a dick on an arm, but they can't navigate a vaccine. I don't know. I get it. It's early. It's too early for the vaccine, maybe. But goddamn, if we can grow dicks on people's arms, I mean, we should definitely be able to grow. I mean, you'd think we'd be able to grow like a lung, right? Or grow other organs, or maybe other appendages, fingers, ears. I don't know. It's definitely something out of a science fiction novel. I would say that. I would say it's very science fiction-y, but more power to him. He paid 65 grand, got himself a nice new dick that it gets hard artificially, but it gets hard. And I mean, I guess it's got nerves, so I'm assuming he will feel something. Again, so many questions, right? Like, does he actually come? Does he actually ejaculate? Does he actually feel it? Or is he just kind of like push a button hard and then does his business, pushes the button and goes down? I don't know. I mean, he's a decent looking dude too. I mean, he's a good looking, I mean, he's not by any means, I mean, he's a respectable looking guy. I mean, just given a shit luck. Like I said, we only tackle the hardest of hard-hitting topics.